Welcome to the Liberty Church podcast, brought to you by Liberty Church in Lula, Georgia. Today's episode, we'll be looking at upcoming events and church activities going on for the next month. Now, here's Pastor Eric. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Liberty Church podcast. Man, here we are, another month. I just realized I totally didn't do this in September. It got a little crazy in August, so I do apologize for that. But hey, we're back here. We got a lot coming up. If you're watching on YouTube with me, you see that there's another mug on the camera besides Pastor Eric. And if you're listening to the podcast, we'll let you know who that is, man. But it's good to have one of our Liberty family members, Mr. Gus Galloway, joining me today, just to kind of come on here and just to put a little extra voice and probably a little more fun to the podcast you get me. Gus, how you feeling, buddy?
I'm like a sign on a farmhouse wall, my friend. I'm grateful and thankful and blessed.
All right. Don't know what that meant, but we'll take it. Hopefully it didn't mean nothing bad. But hey, but man, we're glad you're here today. And hey, what we're gonna do really quick. We're gonna do two things today. We're gonna give you a lot of information that's coming up over the next month. And then we're gonna give you those dates first, because I know some of you's gonna be like, I don't need all this nonsense in my life. Number one, man, come on. We can have a good time and laugh about it. But hey, wanted to let you know what we're going to do. I'm going to run through these dates really quick at the beginning, so you got all the dates, what's coming. And then me and Gus, if you want to hang around with us, we're going to go back through and just walk through them and talk about them, give a little commentary on them, maybe even poke fun at some of them. I don't know, but that's what we're going to do. So let me jump in really quick with these dates. So if you're just wanting to get these dates, you can put them down. Also, don't forget, when you come to church in the foyer, there's a list of everything that we've got scheduled out all the way through the end of December. So if you haven't got a copy of that, it's on the table in the foyer. That way these dates are on there. There is something new that's not on there. That's just, I'll mention it in a minute, but here are the dates. So Gus, you ready?
I'm ready.
You're being a really good listener. I just want to say, buddy,
Yeah.
I mean, it ain't like Sundays. You're not asleep or nothing, but you're being a really good listener right now. Your eyes are open, or maybe as a firefighter, you figured out how to sleep with your eyes open. I don't know. That's possible.
Yeah. I'm training up to be a dad. You know what I mean?
Okay, got you. Yeah, because he's fixing to have a baby. For those of you who don't know, real quick, him and Miss Courtney is fixing to have their first child. So we're so proud for them. And man, we could do a whole episode podcast just on the miracles of God and how that come to be. And maybe we'll do that one day. But hey, let me give you the date. So I'm recording this on Friday, September the 29th. So if you listen to this today, I'm going to drop it later this afternoon. Men, don't forget, in the morning at 8:30 a.m., we're having our second men's fast discipleship with our young men. So we want to challenge you to bring them out. 8:30, we'll have breakfast. 9 o'clock, we'll have a time in the Word together. And then probably about 9:30, we got some projects we're going to get done here around the church, and let those young men get their hands on some tools and some hands-on learning experience to hopefully just help them not only grow spiritually, but grow as young men, to hopefully give them something that maybe years down the road. Me and Gus is in a polo group where we've just been talking about our first jobs and some things that we done even before we had public jobs. So we're hoping to be able to pour into those guys. So, and I'm fixing to just start talking about all these guys without even getting there. So I'm going to pause. I'm going to give you the date. So men, don't forget about that. If you catch this before the 30th, that tomorrow, September the 30th, we're having that here at the church, 8:30 a.m. All right. So October, let's jump into October dates. So October the 8th, that's a Sunday afternoon. We're having our second family fun day down at Wellness Park in Lula from 1 to 4 p.m. Lunch will be provided, so put that down. On October the 11th, there's a few things happening. Of course, y'all know now our regular schedule does not change. Sundays, of course, we have breakfast at 8:30, groups at 9 for all ages, and then our worship gathering at 10:15. Wednesday nights, unless we say otherwise, they go on as normal. We have a meal at 6. And then classes begin for our students and our kids at 6:30. But on the 11th, something new is coming. On the 11th, I'm going to begin teaching a basics of the faith class. So we're going to just take some time. I don't know how long it's going to take. One thing I'm going to tell you when we get there is we're not going to rush through it. We're going to walk through the basics of our faith. So if you are not serving on Wednesday night, I want to encourage you, come on the 11th and I'm going to be going over kind of everything we're going to be covering in the months to come. That way you can see kind of what we're going to be covering, what we're going to be looking at. But I'll be starting that class will probably kick off at 6:45 because that'll give us time to help clean up in the fellowship hall, and then we'll start the class around 6:45 and we'll run till 8. All right, so that's something new. Also on the 11th, the students will be going in January to the Strength to Stand conference, and that $50, I believe it's right, $50 deposit is due on that Wednesday night, the 11th. So if you need any more information about that, talk to Chad. He can get that information to you. On the 18th, we will have no Wednesday night class. That is Hall County's fall break, and we run our schedule with the Hall County school system. So write that down. 18th, no Wednesday nights. Then on the 20th, Friday night, that's the Women of Purpose meeting at 7 p.m. Then on the 21st, and me and Gus come back and talk about this in more detail in a minute, but on the 21st, we're having our second annual Pumpkins at the Park down at Lula Wellness Park. We're going to ask our servers to be there at 11 a.m. to start setting up. And then we'll hopefully have everything cleaned up and out of there by 4 p.m. on October the 21st. Then on the 25th, that next Wednesday night, it's going to be a kids' fun night. And also, man, the teens are going to be having a special service that night outside. So make sure you get those kids and teens here for that. I know they'll have a great time. Then on the 27th and 28th, will be our food pantry. So the 27th, that Friday evening, you can come serve from 2 to 4, or you can serve that Saturday morning from about 8 to 10. We start at 8 and then we'll wrap up. But something else, Lord willing, if Gus Galloway doesn't have a baby by then, we're going to also have that day. We're going to tie in with that and have our third men's fast discipleship with our young men. So we're going to ask them to come and serve at our food pantry. And then after that, like I said, as long as Gus and Courtney haven't had that baby yet, Gus is going to plan on after the food pantry for those young men and the men to teach some first aids. Man, what a great thing I've never thought of for that young men that we all need to know, right? Man, if I get cut or if I break a bone or, how to take care of that, because Mama ain't around all the time. And we'll dig into that a little bit deeper too here in a minute. But let me two more things, and then that'll be all kind we're going to give you right now. Want to give you two. That's everything for October that we've got scheduled. Two things I want to really push you to remember about November that's coming up, just so you go ahead and put it on your calendar. November the 5th. If you remember last year, the first Sunday in November, we had our first annual Liberty Chili Cook-Off. Now listen, Chris Brock won that thing last year, and he was talking about how he's won all these he's ever entered in. And so somebody come out and make a pot of chili and knock Brock off that pedestal. I love you, Brock. So don't forget about that. That'll be right after church, and we're planning on that afternoon, just making it an afternoon of just fun as well. So just mark off that afternoon after we have the chili cook-off. We'll have some chili there, and there'll be music to follow. Maybe we'll bring some other things outside. Some of y'all get that joke later. But anyway, so don't forget about the chili cook-off. And then, of course, on November the 11th, we're having our first annual Liberty Church Marriage Conference. And hey, I'll put a link down in this podcast. If you're listening to it on our podcast or watch it on YouTube, there'll be a link for you to go get registered for that conference. 100% free. We're selling gun raffle tickets. I hope and pray everybody took those 30 tickets out. Sell them babies this week, because that's making our conference 100% free. We want to take away every excuse we can to, help people come and get to this marriage conference. We really think it's going to be a blessing to you. All right, so that's all the dates. So now, if you don't want to hang around, me and Gus are going to walk back through some of these things and just kind of give some thoughts and things on them. So, but those are the dates. If you want to hang out with us, feel free to. This could last 10 minutes. Or it could last a while. So we'll see. All right. So let's walk back through it. But hey, if you're tuning out now, I hope to see you Sunday. Be here. Get involved in a small group. If you're not involved in a small group, you need to be in a small group. So get here at 8:30, eat breakfast, and then 9 o'clock, get in a group, and then get ready to worship at 10:15. All right. So let's dive in, Mr. Gus Galloway. Let's walk through and talk about a couple of these things. So tomorrow we got our first men's fast discipleship. Can't wait. I'm actually going to be talking about this topic in the morning. I'm bringing the devotional or whatever you want to call it. But man, talking about strength and what you think of. So I'm just going to ask you, Gus, right now, man, what do you think of when you hear the word strong? What's the first thought comes to your mind?
So I think oftentimes the first thing we think of when we think of strength is physically, right? But
Yeah.
I think as you grow older in adulthood, you realize, or personally for me, we go through some stuff. We go through some stuff, and for a long time, you think emotional strength, but when I think of strength now, I think of spiritual strength, because it doesn't matter how strong you are, how uh, emotionally fit you are. Man, if you don't have that spiritual strength, you're not going to go through it anywhere near as easy as someone who is spiritually strong.
Yeah, man, that's a good thought. But this is one thing we'll learn, and we talked a little bit about it in the Men of Valor podcast this week. Is man, they all three to go together though: the
Yeah.
physical, the mental, the spiritual. Because I can be spiritually strong, but if my body isn't physically strong, then I only get one to do it with, but we can go in more detail. So, hey, man, show up tomorrow. We're going to talk about that. We're going to be looking over in Ephesians chapter 6. Is kind of where we'll be taking our text. If you guys want to look at that before you get there in the morning, but just come. We're going to have breakfast together. Mr. Ray Lugger will be cooking, so it's going to be good.
Mm.
He'll be cooking some breakfast, and then we'll get in the word. And then we got a couple projects we're going to be working out around the church property. Man, Gus, what do you think about the parking lot, man? Don't it look a whole lot better out there since we got
like
that thing paved?
like a brand new one.
Well, that's because one half of it
Brand new.
is. One half of it is. And trust me, we got the bill for it. We know it's brand new because they charged us for it. But no, that's part of what we're trying to do right now with our refresh and restore kind of vision is, man, just kind of take what God has given us and be good stewards with it. So pumped about some other things we got coming up and trying to get some other things looking better around here as well. But for me, being coming to that parking lot every year for the last 9 years and just going, man, I wish we could do something with the parking lot. Well, finally, we've done something. We got to do something with the parking lot. And I just want to pause right there. And that's because of our listeners that's here, our Liberty family, that they're faithful giving, that and man, just giving to the vision of what God's doing here at Liberty, because we cannot do things like that without y'all's faithfulness. So thank y'all. We hope y'all see that we're trying to be good stewards and we're trying to make a kingdom impact with everything that we do. All right, so don't forget about that. So on the 8th, I can't wait for this. We're having our second family fun day down at Wellness Park in Lula. I tell you what, last time we didn't get to finish a cornhole tournament. We had a cornhole tournament there. We got down to the championship bracket. It was the ladies champions and the men's champions were actually playing when man, it seemed like we was in Tornado Alley there for a second. It was like an episode of The Wizard of Oz going on. All of a sudden, stuff was flying. People was running, screaming for their babies. I mean, it was. Y'all think I'm kidding? If you wasn't there, I mean, it was like, what? I mean, it just got chaotic all of a sudden because man, that storm come out of nowhere. So this family fun day, we hope that you can come and join us. Hey, the church is going to provide a meal. We just want to ask y'all if you can. If you can't, no big deal, but maybe bring a drink, a dessert, or something to share. And then the church family, we're going to provide a meal. So we'll get there around 1 o'clock, right after church. Maybe give you time if you're close enough to go home, change clothes, or maybe just go on down there and help set up whatever you want to do. But 1 o'clock, we'll start eating together. Then we're planning on having a cornhole tournament again. So hey, come and be a part of that. But also, we might have a pickleball tournament as well, because now there's pickleball courts over at Lula that we've been playing. So we're trying to keep everybody on this side. We're not going to listen. I know people saying you don't want to play kickball because Kyle beat you last time. Hogwash. Kyle got lucky one time, but we're trying to keep everything on this side of the park to keep our Liberty family together. And I know Kyle's going to say that's just an excuse not to get your butt kicked. Believe what you want to, buddy. Okay, just believe what you want to. You got something in your beard. Just letting you know, Kyle. You got something in your beard. All right, so come out, join that. Then probably around 4 o'clock, man, our worship team's going to be there, and we're going to have some worship there. So if you say I'm not big into the cornhole, I don't do that. Well, hey, come and eat with us, hang out in fellowship, and then we're going to have some community worship. And you never know, there might be some people out there walking the trail. And as we're worshiping the Lord together out there, man, our God's big enough. So Family Fun Day. Gus, you gonna be able to make it this time, man? I think last time you had to work. I'm hoping you schedule where you can be off that day. If not, man, no pressure, nothing. But I figured you were scared to get beat at cornhole or something is the reason you didn't come last time, and you asked him to schedule to work. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, hopefully we can. And
Awesome.
I just want to touch on something real quick. What you
Yeah.
said, taking a word, you said community.
Mm,
And, I think we have such a great Liberty family, and we are so thankful to be a part of that. I want to throw that in there. But, even if you don't want to do kickball, you don't want to do cornhole or, pickleball, whatever else, it's just that being able to be there in community.
yeah.
One of my favorite things that we do is when we, do things like a meal after the church out there at the fellowship hall, and we just you get to have conversation, you get to fellowship with those people that you don't normally get to fellowship with,
Yeah.
and ultimately we grow closer as a whole, because I mean it's kind of hectic getting in, coming from different groups in the morning and getting in, and then we break out into worship pretty quick, and then as soon as church is over, you got that couple of minutes worth of banter back and forth, and then we go on about our week. So even if you're not someone that enjoys the kickball and all the things, just come and fellowship with your our church community.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, and that's the reason we do it, right? Uh,
Oh yeah.
is to come out and just to get to have that fellowship, just like Gus said. Having it on Sunday mornings, man, you just can't really have that. Most time you get the handshake and how you doing, and that's about all you can get. So make plans to come and join us and bring a chair and just come and just plan on, man. I just want to come. Hey, if you're new with us with the Liberty family, we'd love for you to come and join us as well. Hey, invite a friend to come. Invite a friend to come that maybe not go to church anywhere, because to me, that's what the church is about. It's not about how good the music is. It's not about if the preaching's this or that or my style, but it's about the people. Because right, the church ain't the building, the church ain't the pastor, the church ain't the worship team. The church is the people. And one of the best ways to get involved is to truly just get to know people. And when you get to know people, man, you start to feel a part. So come and be a part. October the 8th at Wellness Park right there in downtown Lula, right off Athens Street for our Family Fun Day. Like I said, we're planning on it being from 1 to 5. So we're planning on 5 o'clock being done with the worship and everything. Then we'll clean up and head home. So we'd love for you to come. Man, last time the kids loved playing in the creek because there's a little creek that runs through. There's a walking trail. So if you want to go walk, I mean, there's just so much to do. It's a little bit off the road, so you ain't got to worry about the kiddos, getting up in the road unless just all of a sudden they take off and they go all the way up the driveway. So come and be a part of that. So just skipping through a couple other big things really quick, man, on October the 11th, starting that basics class, I really want to challenge you if you're not serving, to come and be a part of that. I really want to challenge if you're listening to this and you are a new believer, especially this class can be very beneficial for you. Now, I know what somebody just thought. Well, man, I've been a believer for years, so I guess that's for new believers. No, this class is for everybody. I want to tell you, every time I start digging into the basics of our faith, God constantly is teaching me and showing me something new in the basics that, man, I've overlooked in years past. So I want to challenge you, but like I said, I want to personally challenge you, and I'll be challenging over the next couple of Sundays. If you've surrendered your life to Christ over the past months, past year, come and be a part of this. I've taught some of this years ago before COVID. We used to do this once a year. So I haven't done it in 3 or 4 years, and I've added some other things to it. Actually, over the next 3 weeks, I'm going to be going back through and rewriting some of it. So really want to challenge you if you can come be a part. Like I said, if nothing else, come on the 11th. Check it out. I'm going to kind of be giving an overview of everything we're going to be talking about in the weeks to come. And I'll say this, I always say this whenever I teach this class, that we don't get in any hurry. I'm not trying to get, if we're talking about prayer, and if I can get it in an hour, we'll get it in an hour. If it needs to take 3 weeks, we'll take 3 weeks, because I want to give you guys opportunities to ask questions. Hey, then there's been times anybody's been through that class with me before knows there's sometimes you'll ask questions. I'll say, I'm not sure. But hey, let's all get in God's word over the next week, and let's look at it, and we'll come back next week and we'll talk about it, and we'll kind of see where we feel God's word says about it. So I want to challenge you, October the 11th, Wednesday night, 6:45. You can come eat a meal at 6. Then we'll help clean up the fellowship hall. And then 6:45, we'll take some prayer requests, things like that. And then we'll try to start the teaching and get in the word by 7. And that give us an hour together. So everybody's invited to that. So, hey, if you're a person that you haven't been coming on Wednesday nights because, man, I just don't want to drive all the way down there, bring the kids, and then I had to find something to do for an hour and a half. Hey, now bring the kiddos because they're going to get benefits out of what's happening on Wednesday nights. Our children's ministry, they've rebased everything this year. So they're doing more of a Bible school kind of rotation. So the kids get games, they get a lesson, they get music. So, man, it's a great time. The kids are having a blast. Our students meet right here in the gathering room where they just get in God's word together and have some worship as well. So bring those teens, bring those kids. Nurseries available as well. So, so I know we got some babies that's out here. So, hey, mamas and dads, if you're not serving, bring the baby out. They'll love on that baby, and you can come out and you can take a breather. Listen to me teach. You may even get to take a nap, Gus. So maybe you and Miss Courtney come about January, y'all can come and get y'all some naps in during my teaching. But I want to personally challenge you, come be a part of that, because listen, this world constantly is trying to attack your faith. And if we don't have the foundation laid on what we believe in, the basics, then some of the bigger stuff we will never be able to defend. So I want to challenge you. We want to help you try to set that foundation of your faith in the basics of what we believe. And that way, hey, I might also give you an opportunity. Guess you got anything on that?
I do. You know, and one of the things that we've been doing the FCA with East Hall Middle School, and one of the things that God gave me a message to teach on this past Wednesday night is cultural Christianity. You know, and I think there's a lot, especially living in the Bible Belt, man. We have such a good dose of religion, and there are so many people, and I myself for so long had the a great dose of religion. And there were so many things that I learned about Christianity that I have learned since having true salvation is that's not true. These things are not true at all. That's not, you know what I mean? So I personally, I can't wait. I'm excited to be a part of that, and I think it's important that we go back to those basics. I'll take it from a stance of the fire service. I've got 11 years of being a paid fireman. I've been a fire instructor since like 2015. So how many years that is now? And even the more seasoned guys, we go back to the basics very often. And a lot of people were like, man, this is kind of redundant. Like I've thrown ladders for 20 years. What do I need to know about it now? And each time you go back with an open mind and you go back to those basics, you're going to pick up on something either you've forgotten, you didn't learn the first time, or just, hey, a new way to come about it or a new way to think about it. Yeah. So, man, I'm excited about that.
Yeah, man, that's great. And that's a great analogy with your work, but also with the sports, man. You take these NBA guys, nobody sees it, right? They only see the highlight reels in ESPN, but they're in the gym during the week shooting free throws. They're in the gym during the week shooting 3-pointers. They're shooting those basic shots over and over and over again. So when it comes crunch time, when the pressure's on, that is second nature because they've done the basics and they've hit the basics. So come and be a part of that. Great share there, Gus. So a couple other things. Hey, one of the big things that we do have coming up in October is on the 21st is Pumpkins at the Park. And can I tell you, we have with us, some of you may not even know this. I don't even know if he remembers it, but we have the reigning champion of the Pumpkins at the Park costume winners. Gus and Miss Courtney were the champions last year. They got voted on as the best costume last year, and he is actually as a mouse, not Mickey, but Gus. Not Winnie the Pooh. Oh no, we're not. We're not. You trying to get me to run a rabbit with Winnie the Pooh? No, but he got to be with Gus. He got to be Gus last year, the mouse, and man, they just done a wonderful job. Everybody did, man. We had a wonderful time, and that's the reason we're going back this year. We've added a lot of more stuff to it this year. But guess what? Did you? So last year it was all of our first pumpkins at the park, but it was your and Miss Courtney's kind of first. I believe that was kind of one of y'all's first big events that y'all got to come out with us in the community since y'all been part of our church family. So what was your thoughts on Pumpkins at the Park 2022?
I couldn't wait to do it again, to be honest with you. So, want to back up, clarify again. If you see pictures, I was Gus the mouse, and Courtney was Cinderella. I was not Winnie the Pooh, but I could definitely see the misconstrued, the mix up there. But man, I loved every part about it, and what I love the most is getting to see being a early member of Liberty Church at that time. So we just, had kind of started coming on, and just being able to see the people of Liberty come and love on people from all walks, and we saw a diverse, a very good diversity of people. And every one of those people they were loved on, they were displayed. Christianity and being a follower of Christ was on great display that day. Mm. Everybody was just in total support of that. And I think that is so important, especially in today's time where people have such a, we see it all the time, even in local government. There are people that don't understand Christianity, or they have this belief on what they think it is, and they're just constantly waiting on us to slip up, or whatever else to say. Told you. But what I loved the most was it was a good time. It was great for the kids. We know a lot of people that came to that event probably don't have a church home, may not have ever been to church. And I think the biggest thing was they knew it was a church event. They got to come and be around people that were supportive, they were friendly, they were kind, and they were loving and accepting. And it was just, I mean, you could just tell it on even the adults' faces that these kids were having such a great time, and they were like, you could just tell there were some people that just thought, like, why don't we get involved with this more often? And I even picked up on a couple people that I believe I had a conversation with somebody, and they said, we've been to a lot of church events, but never one like this. And and that's sad to say, honestly. But it sure does make me proud of where I call a church home, because we were able to go out into a community of a bunch of people that were believers, maybe a lot of non-believers, or a lot of people that think they're believers but may not, have that good foundation. But nonetheless, we showed up. Clearly, the Holy Spirit showed up and showed out that day in each and every one of us, and I was just so proud to be a part, man. And from not being from the serving side of it, I think I got just as much out of it, if not more, than the people that came and received. I just loved it.
Yeah, so true. So, hey, we want to personally invite all of our Liberty family here to jump in and serve. Hey, we've been, I talked to Amanda yesterday because she's kind of heading that up for us. She does a wonderful job with it. And was just asking her, Kate, hey, let me know what positions we still have available. So Sunday I can say, hey, this is what we got. And she told me that, man, I think as of right now, we're really doing good. We still got spots open, but she feels comfortable that we're going to get them all filled. So I want to challenge you, if you haven't signed up, because listen, we cannot fill up. We can have that whole trail full of people dressed up giving out candy. We can't have enough of that, man. The more of that we have, the more fun it is for the kids. But like I said, this year we're going to have the pumpkin hunt. It's going to be separate from this. We're using the whole park. We're going to have a pumpkin patch where they hear the pumpkin Bible story. We're going to have pumpkin decorating. The face painters are coming back. The balloon artist is going to be there. Kona Ice is going to be there. We just decided yesterday we're going to have a place like a big old thing just full of bubbles blowing for kids to go play in bubbles. Kids love bubbles, right? We're going to have a cookie walk. And there's some other stuff we're working on that we're hoping to get there. So, man, there's so much going to be going on, and we need you to come be a part. So if you haven't signed up, this Sunday, go out to the Connect tent after church and either sign up to serve in one of the places to help serve, or either sign up to serve through the capacity of dressing up and just having a good time giving out candy to the kids. So we're just going out with one purpose that Saturday, and that's loving on our community. I said it this Sunday. We're not asking for anything from anybody that shows up. We're not asking for phone numbers, emails. Our hope is that we love them so well that they will come and see, right? Kind of what scripture says, just come and see. I believe it was, Philip, Nathaniel, where he didn't believe. He said, can anything good come out of Nazareth? And he was told the simple answer, just come and see. Just come and see. So we're praying that they see something so different in our church family, as Gus just talked about from last year, that they will want to come and see what's going on. That why would these people come out and put on this free event in our community, not ask anything of me? They didn't ask for a phone number. They didn't ask for my email. They just wanted to love me and my family. And we're praying and believing that God is going to send us some folks from our community that don't have a church home to come and see what God is doing at Liberty. So, hey, get signed up, come help us with that, and we cannot wait. So, hey, just a couple more things we're going to cover really quick, and then we're going to sign off because I know Gus is at work and he needs to go take a nap, and I'm here at the church, and I got to go get a few more things done before this day ends here on this Friday. But don't forget about the food pantry. Of course, we mentioned that earlier. Man, it's one of those things when you come serve in that food pantry, just serving and loving on our community, man, you get more out of it than what you're giving. So we do want to challenge you. Hey, Christmas time will be coming up before we know it. So, hey, if you got some gently used toys, now listen, I want to say this here, and I want to say it as nice as I can. Don't bring us your junk. Don't bring the toys that are broke, the toys that are missing pieces. But I know all of us that have kids, there's some toys that sitting in their toy room that they got for Christmas last year that they've touched 2 times, still in great shape, but they don't play with it no more. Would you think about maybe donating that for us to be able to give away to our food pantry patrons in November, for them to have some things maybe to give to their children? So, like I said, I want to say this the nice way I can, and it's just the only way I know to say it. Don't give us your junk. If you wouldn't want somebody giving it to your kid in that condition, then just go give it to the Goodwill or something. But we want to be able to have some stuff here. And you can see, I'm just going to throw him out there as the contact guy. See Kyle Stubbs for that, and he can give you details on where he wants it. So you're welcome, Kyle. There's you something else to do, buddy. But see, Kyle, me and him was actually talking about this Wednesday night. So if you're going through and cleaning out before Christmas gets here, and you got some really good stuff, man, we would love to have an opportunity to bless somebody with that. But hey, don't only just give it, come and serve if you can to our food pantry. So then chili cook-off, we'll have more information coming about that, on how you can get signed up for that, to bring a pot of chili and to enter it in and to take Chris Brock off his throne. I'm really saying all this to see if Brock watches the podcast or not, because I know if he won't say nothing about it, then he didn't watch it. So guess if he don't say nothing to me about it, we'll know we can get on him. Man, you need to listen to the Liberty Church podcast a little bit more often. And he might be mad now because you were a guest on before he was. I don't know.
Yeah, and I'm going to get I'm going to find a manager or an assistant manager of a Wendy's to taste test and compare.
Okay. All right. Well, you're
sketch, man. He's sketch. The chili came from Wendy's, I guarantee it.
Oh man, man, Brock, he just called you out.
He
Said
bought a gallon of chili from Wendy's, put some garlic salt in it, and served it to the church.
Now you just gave somebody an idea. Somebody gonna be going up to Wendy's. They gonna be like 4 pots of chili. It tastes exactly the same because they all come from Wendy's. Wendy's chilies go out the roof that week.
If you want to be real slick, pick the beans out of it.
Oh man. So hey, we want you to come be a part of that. That was a great time last year. Some good chili. and just another one of those events where we get to fellowship with our church family, and another opportunity for you to invite somebody to come to church that Sunday and say, hey, come to church with me after church. We're having a chili cook off and just going to have a fun day. So use these events like not only for us to have community together, but to invite some other people into community, to invite them to come and see that, man, those folks at Liberty, they're a bunch of messed up folks. They love Jesus, but man, they're real. That's one thing that I'm proud to say that I feel our church is, that our church is a real church, that we're not trying to be something we're not, that what you see is what you get. And, and we hope that get is a whole lot of Jesus. But you can see that even though we mess up, even though we'll say things stupid, sometimes we'll be goofy. But then we hope you see our heart that we truly love Jesus. And then to wrap it all up today, talking about our marriage conference that's going to be on November the 11th right here. I know Mr. Gus and Courtney probably ain't going to be able to make it to that one because I would almost be 100% sure that Baby Sutton's going to be here by then. So probably got the best excuse out of anybody in our church.
Only excuse. Only excuse.
The only excuse. So let's just lay that out there. The only excuse for you not to be at the marriage conference if you have a baby within a 2-week window of the marriage conference. Okay, so that's the only the excuse we're going to take. Hey, Scott and Dawn Smith are going to be with us. I got to sit down with Scott a few weeks ago and just have a cup of coffee. Me and him just talk through some things. Man, they do such a wonderful job. If you want to go meet them a little bit, you can go to another podcast platform and download the Forever Marriage podcast. And man, they've just got some great content on there that me and Mandy's listened to some of it, and we tried to use it, as a talking tool for us, for me and her both to listen to the episode and then us come back and talk about that episode, or we even listen to it together and pause it and talk about what they just talked about. So there's already some resources that you can be getting from Scott and Dawn, but really want to challenge you. Hey, we're going to have childcare for you that day. So if you got children, that's going to be provided for you. We're going to have brunch in the middle of the conference. So the conference will start at 8. We'll have about an hour and a half session. Hey, I'm going to mention it here. I don't know exactly who all is going to be here to lead worship, but worship's going to be good. For my men, if you come to the Men of Valor conference, all I'm going to say is worship is going to be good. So that's all I'm going to say about that, because I'm not sure all who's coming, but I know that if you go to Men of Valor conference, let's just say you'll see some familiar faces on the stage for our marriage conference. That's going to be here for our marriage conference leading worship. So worship's going to be good. Scott and Dawn's going to bring some great content to pour into your marriage. So if you haven't signed up, get signed up. And hey, I want to say this just in case somebody's listening that's not part of our Liberty family. This is available for you as well. This is a community event. Right now, we've got couples coming from 4 different states outside of Georgia that are coming for the marriage conference. They're driving down. There's actually one couple that's flying in to come be part of our marriage conference. So this is open to anybody that can come be a part. We hope that you will be, because we want our one goal is to strengthen your marriage, because we know that the enemy is out to destroy your marriage. He is out to destroy each of you individually. And no matter if you think your marriage is the best right now it's ever been, or maybe you feel like your marriage is just one argument away from ending, come and be a part of this conference. I believe you will find some value in it, that God will use the words that you're going to hear that Saturday to hopefully rekindle that flame, to hopefully, man, make you closer than you've ever been before. So the only excuse you have is not wanting to come, unless you're having a baby like Gus and Courtney. So the only excuse you'd have,
still want to come.
yeah, and they still want to come, and I'm going to work on everything I can do to make it available to them digitally. We're not doing a digital thing, but it is. I'm going to try everything I can do. If I had to record it on my phone from the front pew, or I'll probably be sitting on the second pew because I'm not preaching that Sunday. But I'm going to do everything I can do to get that available for them. But hey, be here, and sign up for it. Tell your spouse, hey, I signed us up for this marriage conference. Hey, to my men listening, freaking man up. Don't wait on your wife to sign up for this conference. you go ahead and sign up for it. She might just be waiting on you to sign up for it to see if you was going to. So go ahead, sign up for it, and then send her a message. Say, hey, honey, I just signed us up for the marriage conference on November the 11th. I hope we can go. Make sure we ain't got anything on our calendar. All right, Gus, you got anything else? Any Gusisms that you'd like to? That's a new one right there. Gusism. You got any Gusisms that you'd like to end us with today?
Chris has already started a list of Gusisms, him and Courtney. I called myself a Jesus dork the other night.
There's a t-shirt.
It come out of nowhere, yeah. But you know what, man? Genesis chapter 1, verse 26. The first job that God gave us men was to be a leader. Right? He put us over the beasts of the field, the birds there, and everything that walked there. Our job was to be a leader. Be a leader in your home. And you touched on the enemy trying to destroy families. The first thing that he seeks to do is take the man out of the head of the household. So once he does that, the rest of it can start to fall apart. So you mentioned the word strength at the beginning of this podcast. So strengthen, have some strength, and come into this marriage conference. Courtney and I have attended another marriage conference from another local church, and I was a little, I won't say hesitant, but I was a little kind of like, we're 2 years into a marriage, man. Everything is great. I don't see where we're gonna, but we did, man. We learned and we came back and we implemented these things, and it encouraged to keep a God-centered marriage. And it just, here we are, we're coming up on 3 years. And I can tell you, because we did not have a God-centered marriage from the very beginning, because I did not lead us to have a God-centered marriage from the very beginning, it almost ended and I didn't even know it. I thought things were good and things were not.
Yeah.
And there's that, sometimes a lack of communication can be a problem, but when you don't think that there's a problem, no communication is going to help because you don't see it. So what happens if you come to this conference and you get just a little tidbit of something, just a mustard seed worth of something out of this conference, and you're able to take it back and strengthen a relationship and a marriage that you didn't even know needed to be strengthened or could be strengthened, but I guarantee you can. So I like I said, I maybe there's a way that we can kind of be an attendee of some sort. Man, of course, the birth of my daughter is going to be a life moment that I can't compare to anything else, but or to much. But man, and then of course when you mentioned these worship sessions, I'm gonna have to like take trash out. You know what I mean? Like, where'd you go? I'm taking the trash out. Yeah.
Dumpster's full. I had to run it down to the Liberty dumpster down there real quick and throw it in their dumpster.
Yeah. I got to take her out so she'll go to sleep or something.
Yeah. So, well, man, thanks for those words. Those are great words because, like I said, me and Mandy just celebrated just this week our 24th year, and man, we're constantly. I mean, I think, and Mandy, I think she would agree, man. We've got a great marriage, but hey, if you're not working to make it better, it can always be better. Whether it's me listening, right? I'm a horrible listener. Whether it's me listening to or really tuning in, or communication is key. So come expecting. Just say, God, I'm coming to this. I don't know what you want to teach me, but I'm willing to come and listen. And once again, like I said a while ago, just come and see. Come and see what God wants to give you at our marriage conference. So, hey, man, thank y'all so much for joining us today. Gus, thank you so much for jumping on here with me. For y'all that don't know, this was truly a last minute thing. I just texted Gus this morning when I was fixing to take Silas to school. I was waiting on Silas to get in the car, and I just texted. I knew I was going to try to record this day, and I was like, hey, I wonder if Gus jump on with me this morning, and let's just make it a little bit different. Because like I said, in the future of this podcast, who knows, we might do some interviews and things like that of our Liberty family, and just let them share some of their stories to start helping that community connect a little bit better. to let people hear some testimony. But man, Gus, I appreciate you jumping on here for a few minutes with me this morning. And man, just think I think there were some great nuggets that were given today to help us all in our walk. It's amazing how God can just use a events and calendar podcast to hopefully encourage someone here to come be a part of what God's doing here at Liberty. So, all right, church family, we love you so much. We hope to see you this coming Sunday. No matter when you're listening to this, I hope to see you this Sunday that's coming up. But hey, just remember these few words that I always like to end with: keep fighting, win today, and as always, go light it up for the
Light it
King.
up for the King.
God bless. We'll talk to you soon. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Liberty Church podcast. Please remember to subscribe and follow the Liberty Church podcast on your podcast listening platform so you don't miss any sermons, announcements, interviews, or anything that we put out through this platform. God bless. Have a great day. And as always, go light it up for the King.